Redditors, what's the weirdest thing you've caught a roommate doing? He thought I had left. Pulls out penis to masturbate and imitates MLK free at last, free at last. Never told him. So, nowadays I say free at last at random times when referring to masturbating, and I just see this look of fear. Does he know? Yes, Tyler. I know. Dear God, I have a roommate named Tyler, along with two other roommates long shot, but one of them says that phrase pretty often. You live in Colorado? Nope. Live in the South. Lol. F you, I'm still choosing to believe. And that's how religion was invented. I had a roommate in college who had a thing for making love to very, very large women. He had a room on the ground floor off of living room where we would all hang out. He was too embarrassed to admit his preferences in women, so he would force his hookups to exit through his window. Only problem is our house was L-shaped, and his window was visible from the living room. So on numerous occasions we got to watch large women fall out of his window. Edit. Thanks Reddit for the vocab lesson, history lesson, and gold. To clarify some of the burning questions. Yes, he was very manipulative, and most definitely a sociopath who preyed on girls with low self-esteem. By very, very large women I mean in the plus 200 pounds and up club, but under 6 foot. How big was the window? Bigger than the women, I hope. Maybe his real fetish was watching big women auto-defenestrate. I've caught my roommates, who are married, having sex, but that's not the weird part. I was homesick one day, and I'd let my friend borrow my car. So, my roommates thought I wasn't home and figured it was a good time to have sex in the kitchen. My room, being downstairs with the kitchen, was in earshot, so I peeked outside and saw them fucking. It only lasted for about 2 minutes, and then the wife starts yelling at the husband about how pathetic he is in bed, and he can't please her, and he comes too fast. It was fucking brutal. I'm pretty sure the husband started crying. Later that day, when I got home, the husband starts bragging to me about how he and the wife f***ed all over the house that day. I said nothing and let him have that moment. He needed it. Damn, this is a little too real. I know, right? His ego had to be shattered. Just reading that, I feel my ego shattering. Maybe he has a humiliation fetish. My old roommate had a picture of he and his mom by his bedside. His mom looked a lot like Dinah Shore, which sort of made sense because so did he when I thought about it, sort of round face, blonde hair, and he was gay, so whatever, that's cool. Somehow that all fit together in my head. Then one day we were all in his room smoking out, and I told him, Rodney, I gotta say your mom looks just like Dinah Shore. He asked, how do you know what my mom looks like? And I pointed to the picture. Rodney says, that's not my mom, that's Dinah Shore. Ha 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 ha, didn't see that coming. That was told well. I used to live with what I've decided was one of the most disgusting couples ever. We lived in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. They would use my dishes and leave them in their room, unwashed, usually with food in them. They didn't want to buy a litter box for their cat, so they took a plastic gallon tub and just dumped litter in it. Their cat constantly peed in their closet on their shoes, and they just continue wearing them. But the worst. When we moved out, I had to clean everything or I knew we wouldn't get our deposit back. They had cleaned out most of their things, and I let them know I was going to clean their room. They said cool, they were never going to do it, so I go in, armed with gloves, a scarf covering my mouth, and a bottle of bleach. Boy, was I unprepared. I walk in and this stench just hits me. Their bedroom door was always closed, and they always had incense burning, so I never smelled it. They had a couple cardboard boxes filled with poop and toilet paper. I ran out of there so fast and called them, screaming and demanding to know what was going on. They said sometimes I would be in the bathroom and instead of knock or hold their bladder, they would crap in boxes. They tried to play it off as we take it out once a week, like it was changing the litter box. Edit. Thanks for the gold and making the poop box my upvoted post in my Reddit history. I'm glad we could share this experience together. I think you might have been living with ferals. It happens from time to time, when a human is never properly house-trained. He would talk to a Woody doll, from Toy Story, that his dad gave to him before he died. I believe he thought he could communicate with his dead dad through the doll in a figurative way. He would also masturbate in his bed very early in the morning, and then apologize at a more reasonable hour. We shared a bunk bed. The whole thing would shake. What a rollercoaster this was. Edit. What crazy person gave me gold for this? Insane. It went from one kind of woody to another, neither of which were particularly pleasant to imagine. Doing a webcam show while I was in the background innocently working on my chemistry homework. Edit. I unfortunately do not know where she posted it or under what name. Until that point I knew she was weird as fuck, but didn't know what she was doing. Prior to moving in, she called me to ask if she could draw pictures of bunnies committing suicide on our wall. I said no. Moved into a room with bunnies committing suicide on the wall. This episode was only after a few weeks of living together. I ended up moving out shortly after because she was up all night on her webcam and I couldn't sleep. I also once came home to her playing Naked Twister in the living room with strangers, which, hey, to each their own, but maybe a little warning next time. She also left used tampons around the apartment. That was the final straw for me. Thanks for gold. I didn't even know I had it. Do I do something with it? Edit number 2. Also, I am a girl. Not sure why everyone thinks I'm a boy. LOL. OMG. So some of those they don't know I am doing this is actually real? Is that a thing? I didn't know it was a thing. But yes. Haha.